Hello and welcome back to the Cyclical Duo podcast. Today you are hearing about the real, raw, charted life of Emmamma. So it's a solo episode, and I'm hoping to do these regularly. We'll see how often I get them out, but just kind of like a check-in instead of a written newsletter because that is honestly my least favorite thing. And so I'm thinking about just recording this and letting people hear about what's going on with cyclical doula stuff and MMA stuff. So I am coming off of a very busy travel month. The month of April started off with my family and I having celebrating Easter, having some family here. And then we left pretty immediately after that to go to St. Martin for Southwest's inaugural flight there, which was super duper cool. But um, I really kind of just like checked out. Um, Things in my personal life have been pretty stressful. Just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of extended family things that just I'm processing. And so with that, I really checked out for that first week that we were gone. We were there for like 2 days, and then we were in Orlando before and afterwards to just kind of help because we drove back and forth from there. So it was a great trip. It was fun to just like be in the warmth, be at the beach. The kids played in the pool most of the time. It was great. I came back, did a bunch of work, and then I left for um, Vermont and to head to Italy with a group of youth and their parents for a pilgrimage, which was absolutely fantastic. So we went to Rome. We did the seven churches pilgrimage that St. Philip Neri had done. And this pilgrimage, super cool. And we walked miles every single day. So we saw all the big sites. We like went to the Vatican. We did the steps all the way up to the dome. Um, we were able to go to the Colosseum. We were able to see some catacombs. We walked probably like 10 miles plus a day, which was awesome. So we walked all over Rome. And then we took a day trip to Assisi one day, which I absolutely love Assisi. And it was great to be there. And then we also took a day trip to Naples and went to Herculaneum to see that site and to show people that experience. I personally do not like Naples, and so um, that was like the low light of the trip for me. And then that last day, my colleague and I, who happens to be a really, really good friend, we just like walked all over Rome and shopped. And I got a fabulous painting that gives like Charleston vibes and Rome vibes. And I'm super excited to get this thing framed and have it up in my house. So I have not bought art like that ever. And so I'm super pumped about that. And then um, so I was gone for like 10, 11 days, something like that. I'm not even sure. And so I've spent, I think, more time out of the house or out of the country even, um, than in the country and in my house for the month of April. And so I am finally back, and kind of in here for a little bit in a new routine, trying to find out new things that are working well for me. So, um, with that, with all of that travel, I wound up like not being able to be consistent with my oral basal body thermometer. And I kind of knew that my cycle started right on April 1st, which is kind of fun. Easy to keep track of which day I'm on. Um, so I kind of was like, I'm not going to be able to keep up with this. So I kind of went into the cycle knowing, that because of all my travel and because of fertile window stuff and my husband's travel, I was like, I'm not using this cycle to get actual data for, um, avoiding pregnancy. And so, I was using my Aura Ring, data as like, just like general data, but not, not expecting it to be perfect. Usually it's pretty consistent with corresponding in like a general pattern with my oral basal body temperature. But I would say with all the international travel, with a lack of sleep, I was sick for like 48 hours within that time that I was actually home. And so I feel like it's just like off. So I'm feeling hesitant about this data as a whole. And so I'm really excited to get back into temping with my my oral thermometer, because I feel like it just like is so much more consistent for me. Um, with that though, I was listening to another podcast and they had suggested using the app Fertility Friend as a way to get your aura temperature data like for free, like the specific one, because your Oura Ring just has this deviation. So if you're listening to this and you use Oura Ring, you don't want to use natural cycles and you just want the data, Fertility Friend could be a good option to get that data. I am going to reiterate that I do not think an app should be telling you when you're fertile and when you're not. You should be using your own interpretation. So take that with a grain of salt. But if you want the actual data points, that could be helpful. So I was using that and it's kind of fun to see the actual data points. Let's see. So with that, with all of these things that have been taking place over the last couple months, I've also reduced a lot of my daycare hours. I used to be open 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And now I'm down to 3 days a week, 2 full days, 1 half day. So which is giving me so much more time for fertility awareness education, and I am so pumped about that. So expect to hear a little bit more from me on the regular, which is super fun. And so I am hoping to do some more of these, just like raw check-ins, kind of brain dumps about what's going on a more often basis, so you can just hear from me. I am loving having all these guests on. I did a huge amount of batch recording in the early part of the year. And so you'll continue to hear from so many different guests and so many different information around all of them, but I'm hoping that you can just kind of enjoy hearing from me every once in a while too, what's going on in my life, because I am trying to like just simplify my life as much as possible. I'm trying to keep things consistent, and when like life throws things, I'll move stuff around. But typically, I'm going to be hosting events that are matriarch or fertility knowledge collective protocol methods stuff on Tuesday evenings, and then anything that's like SymptoPro related on Thursday evenings. So if you don't know, I'm on the East Coast of the United States, so that's just helpful when you're thinking about timing. But I teach 2 different methods. So I teach SymptoPro, which is a symptothermal method that has Catholic roots and Catholic morals spread throughout. It has some really strong protocols. It gives you a lot of information, a lot of practice. You get physical charts, materials you can chart with an app. You can do all sorts of different things. You use abstinence. If you're using SymptoPro, the recommendation is to use abstinence in the fertile window, because that's what's most effective and also follows Catholic Church teaching. So all of those things are there. If you're interested in learning more about that, I think I have an episode out already, but I will also be releasing a new episode about like more in detail about SymptoPro. And so I'll make sure that's linked once that's out. And then the other method I teach is Fertility Knowledge Collective's protocol. And this is kind of like a multi-symptom protocol. It's really like mainly based in the symptothermal method, but also like knowing that there's seasons of life where you need to throw in some other testing like LH, stuff like that, and being able to use those for knowledge and like really being really specific. I love the way Fertility Knowledge Collective that we teach this, because it's so specific to the individual, and it's really focused just on charting to start off. So it's really simple about like you chart something or nothing, and then you get like a little bit more specific, use your own words, and then you figure out how to interpret it. We talk really specifically about you. It can be in a specific time frame that feels good for you, all of those things. So I am teaching Fertility Knowledge Collective protocol within my matriarch program, which is my big container of just like all of my resources and all of my support. I host weekly office hours, which will be Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And so all of that stuff's going to take place on Tuesdays. Then again, just going back for a second, all of my SymtoPro stuff that I'm teaching is going to be on Thursday night. So I host monthly intro sessions for that. So the monthly introduction to SymtoPro hits a marriage prep requirement if you're getting married in the Catholic Church and need a marriage prep requirement course for natural family planning. And then I am going to be teaching some more group courses on SymtoPro throughout the year. And so those will also be on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then switching gears back to Fertility Knowledge Collective. So matriarch office hours will be on Tuesdays, and then monthly I'll host these initial sessions of like how to learn how to chart with Fertility Knowledge Collective, and then there'll be support within that. So that's what that's looking like right now. It's kind of how I'm going down. And then I'll also have some individual support and coaching options as well. So if you're looking for more one-on-one versus these groups, I'll have that. It's going to be at a higher price point, but I am just really excited to get into this with people to feel like they are able to just know their bodies really well. All right, so just coming up for May, I'm just going to throw out some dates for you. So on Thursday, May 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm hosting my Introduction to SymtoPro. And then on Tuesday, May 12th at 8 p.m., I'm hosting that initial instruction for Fertility Knowledge Collective. It's Matriarchs Charting Foundation. And then my next SymtoPro cohort is going to start on Thursday, May 14th at and those will be happening bi-weekly on Thursday. So it's 8 weeks of information. So Thursday, May 14th, Thursday, May 28th, Thursday, June 11th, and then Thursday, June 25th, all at 8 p.m. Eastern. All of these things that I'm offering are online currently. I'm hoping to get some more in-person stuff coming up in the future, but not quite yet. And then I am starting to toy with the idea and working with some other people about teaching body literacy to kids with just like a secular base of it. So how you can learn about your body, how we can learn about cycles, how we can chart and track our cycles just for health knowledge. And so keep your ears peeled for information about that. I'm probably going to do some like beta courses testing and try that out. So yeah, I'm super excited for that. Super excited for all the things that are coming up, for all of the episodes that are coming out with the guests this month, and some other things coming up in personal life, all of those things. And yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for making me a part of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks so much for being here today on the Cyclical Doula podcast. If this episode resonated with you, the most powerful thing that you can do is to share it. Send it to a friend, text it to your sister, forward it to that group chat. This is how conversations about our bodies start changing. Quietly, organically, woman to woman. If you are listening and thinking, okay, I want help applying this to my cycle, I offer free cycle clarity calls. It's a relaxed conversation over Zoom where we talk through your goals, your charting practices, and what kind of support that would actually make sense for you. You can book one at emmamma.com/free. And if you haven't already, make sure you're following or subscribe to the Cyclical Doula podcast so that you don't miss future episodes. And if you feel called to leave a rating or a review, it genuinely helps more women find this work. So thank you. You deserve to understand your body. You deserve to feel confident in your reproductive choices. And you don't have to figure it out alone. I'll see you next week. Thanks for being here.
Welcome to the space where cycles breathe, where the real raw life of Emmamma leads. From motherhood's highs to charting the low, your body's story is the start.